Hey y'all, welcome back to the Village and the Streets. We are the Black Flames. I am Dr. Griffs.
My name is Bam, and welcome back to the channel for another video, guys. And today, I'm pretty excited. We're actually acting like we're an actual podcast now because we got our very first guest. Just to let you guys know, this person is a pretty dope person, one of me and Dr. Griff's closest friends. She's one of the people that's perfect for this kind of discussion that we're going to have today, which is life after college or life after higher education. She just recently got her master's degree from Columbia University. Introducing SJ.
Hi. Thank you guys for I'm your first guest. So I'm very excited. I love you guys. So yeah. Thanks for having me.
You're our first guest. There's no one else.
Okay.
We're trying to who else could we call? Who else can we call? You know, we're not saying that you weren't the first option, but not the last option.
I'll take it. Add this to my resume. Thank you.
Okay. So we all went to the same college, and then we went on to divergent paths after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I kind of stayed in my college area and worked in that area. And what did y'all kind of do?
Well, for me, what did I do? I ended up working at Blink Fitness for a little bit, and I was using that time to work on my skills in my portfolio, which I think will be an interesting thing to bring up because of since we're all in different career paths, we all got different majors in school. We kind of all have a different relationship to how our degree translates directly into the working environment. So for me, I'm a computer scientist. I went to school for computer science, and I'll say definitely I'm using a lot less of my degree than I would have liked or expected in the work that I do. And a lot of my first years outside of college was oriented towards building on my portfolio and learning things online and talking to other people in the industry and seeing what are the appropriate skills to learn. And I just estimate I filtered out probably 60% of the stuff I learned in school, and I'm probably only using 40%. So I'll kind of 60% of my money back. That would be nice, but But what would you say your relationship with your education that you learned in school towards what you're doing in your working field now, Miss SJ?
Well, I know when we left college, I didn't feel like I had a formal journalism training. So my first job as a reporter, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. A lot of it I learned through an aggressive editor who was you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that, and I was just wow, I really don't know as much about this space as I thought I did. I just know how to write clean copy. I can write a paragraph with no mistakes. That's what I learned. But it's way more than that when you're writing a story. So part of the reason why I went back to school, because I was dang, I don't really know how to be a journalist. And undergrad didn't really prep me for that. So the translation between that was a lot of dang, I don't really know what I'm doing. Should I really even be in this career path? It was an adjustment. But you take control. You're okay, well, what can I do? I learned from the people around me, and a lot of them had masters. The people who had the money, they had masters in my field. I was okay, let me go get one.
Dope. For me, my major was digital media studies. And I remember when I graduated, I graduated and stayed in the area of the college I graduated from, and I was desperate. I was trying to get any job possible. You know what I'm saying? I DJ'd, but that wasn't enough to be sustainable. I foolishly signed a lease for my first apartment without a job. I was I think I land a job. Luckily, I did. And the first job I had wasn't really. I worked with high school students to help them try to get to college, so I didn't really use my major, which was DMS. And then I stayed there for about a year or so, transferred to a different job where I was doing customer service on campus. And then after that, my current job I think relates mostly with my major. So I work in a space that's about like VR and XR equipment. So that is most like my major. But outside of that, I've been, learning video stuff, sound stuff, which kind of was my major. So I've been doing my major stuff outside of work, and that kind of has been my path or connection to my major.
It's so funny because I feel like digital media studies was like that degree, especially now.
Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck is it so hard? Or why was it like I felt like especially in my job now, like we're always looking for someone that can master that space. It's just so hard for us post grad. Like I don't know. I just feel like it shouldn't have been that difficult.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like
honestly, I think
say your thing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I think for me, when I was a student, I didn't really prioritize learning because I was focused on trying to get the immediate money. So, like when DMS majors knew how to code and knew how to perfectly edit videos, I could kind of do some things, and I was very lackluster in those things. But now I'm a bit more confident in those abilities. So, yeah.
Yeah, because more jobs are looking for like more versatile people. And to me, even looking at like my career path and stuff, is like I'm basically at the job I'm working right now. Is like all the stuff I would have learned if I was a digital media studies major. Is like the stuff I'm doing. Like I'm doing the coding, I'm doing video editing, I'm doing a photo editing there. So I'm doing a lot of graphic design stuff. So I'm like, damn, digital media studies would have been way more beneficial, like to me in the tech field, because it's almost like as a coder, for me, when I go into the field, it's almost like I start off coding and they're like, yo, do you know how to edit photos? And I'm like, yeah, because I do this stuff. I do YouTube. So like, they're like, oh, like we got a couple banners and photos we need to edit and make. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then they're like, all right, that's your job now. That's part of your job now. You have to do that. Is there anything, because I feel like do you feel like the translation from like how immediate for you guys was it like coming out of college? Because there's a lot of people right now that are out of college, and congratulations to everybody that's outside of college right now or got the degree. Congratulations, you guy. Life is exciting. Yeah, get ready for it. So what do you what is
it gets worse.
How long do you think the period of get your degree to get a job was it for you guys, and like how do you feel like people should have their mindset about going? Because from just my personal friendship and thing with SJ is that she's the type of person that goes, well, when she was getting jobs, she was like going crazy with the application process in terms of just applying to places, and she's able to lock down interviews pretty well, in my opinion. So like, what is like you guys' personal experience with like, got my degree, easier to get a job or harder to get a job than I expected?
I will first. My first job was a healthcare proofreader. That had nothing to do with what I wanted to do. I wanted to write stories. So I mean, I don't know. I applied like a beast straight out of college, but it took a while for me to even get that job, and it wasn't even in my field. And then because I knew I wanted to do reporting, the job, when I finally did get a reporter job, it was for a newspaper, and they were literally paying me like $800 a month. It was shitty. It was like such bad pay, but I knew I wanted to work in that field, so I sacrificed money to get experience.
Feel that.
And it was a boot camp, but and it was like a really hard editor, and it was just like no money, stressful work environment. Like I feel like mental health really was not a thing there. I was trying to get that experience. But then from then on, it got easier to apply. Like I knew finance journalists made more, so I was like, okay, let me apply to that. And I applied for jobs there, and I got a job in that. I switched over and got another job in that. It was just, especially now, like I just feel like the higher you go up. So like I was a reporter, then I moved on to like an editor, associate editor kinds of spaces. It's less, I'm more picky if I'm ever looking for a new space, I'm way more picky with where I'm going. Like, I'm not applying to 100 jobs like I did when I first graduated. I'm applying to 10 jobs that I've always dreamed of working at. And seeing like, oh shit, can I get an interview? Like, let's just see. Because I've moved up. I feel like I'm in a point in my career where like I could be a bit more choosy now, but in the beginning, that's why I had that healthcare job, because I was just applying anywhere.
And you're also more financially secure too, so like that also comes into play, right?
Yeah, it is. So like my savings is what drives me. Like, I don't know, like I had a lot of anxiety about just being broke. I feel like that's just what like sat on my chest a lot of the times. Like, I didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to have to go back to my mom's. I want to be able to help my parents. I want to be able to go into the store and buy what I want to buy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So my savings, when I look at that, my savings, it gives me a lot of, not because like, oh, it's money, but it's like, it's security. Like, if shit ever goes left, you know, I could pay for my space. Like, I could survive. So yeah, that financial security is like everything.
That's dope. For me, I kind of had the opposite journey. When I graduated in May 2018, by June I had a job because I stayed in the area that I worked to, and when I was graduating, I was like, "Hey y'all, I'm graduating. Are y'all hiring?" And some people were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, I'm serious." And at that point in time, I had some, like, I knew a lot of people on the campus, so I was able to see which department would potentially hire. And I was like, anyone that would pay me, I'll work. You know what I'm saying? It could be any type of job, really. Any type of legal job. That's how I was willing to work. So fortunately, by June, I had a job. I'm saying fortunately because, like, I thought I had a savings, but, you know, the paying for your first apartment, you gotta put like security deposit, first month's rent, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I had to pay
DJing was
fee.
Fuck them.
I was down bad financially when I first graduated, but and then what was your second question? I kind of got blank.
Oh, like I guess I was asking the question from immediate, like, what did you expect? Like, you get your degree, you come out of school, and then expectations versus reality. Like, the job you got versus a job that you thought you were going to get right out of school.
I didn't think I really thought about post-college life. I think I thought at like 25, I'll just fall off the map, something like, you know, just
like this video game.
Yeah, like I don't know. I had aspirations to be like a millionaire by 27, but I don't think I ever really conceived what that would look like. It was just like, you know, if I'm still alive at that point, you know what I'm saying? You know, hopefully things are working out. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really had expectations of what that job would be like or what life post-college would be like. One thing I will say was I feel like my honeymoon phase after graduation was really short. Yeah, like, did y'all go like a trip to Cancun after y'all graduated or anything like that?
No, I don't get how people were doing that. Like, where the fuck did y'all get money to celebrate your undergrad? Like, unless people gave you, but I was broke as shit after undergrad. Like yeah.
Like, I wasn't financially broke, but like my brain knew that 6 months from now, those loans were going to be like, yo, hey, it's time. It's time. So like in my head, and also I was still waiting for grades back from my classes, and I know there was 2 classes that were just like super on the fence. So like for me, I never really had that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I graduated, like I'm good. It was more like, I hope I graduated. And so I ended up failing those classes and ended up having to retake them at different schools and stuff. And that was a whole process altogether. But never really had that let me celebrate time. It was always this feeling of let me catch up and get to where I think I'm supposed to be. And I feel like maybe certain people coming out of college, because like, you know, when you're young and you're first getting into college, you're kind of thinking like, oh snap, like, you know, I just do this 4-year degree, get this money, get my first job, get my first apartment, live my own, live the good life, and I'm good. But you know, it's like, I think it's always important. I wish I kind of talked to more people in my industry while I was in college and kind of got the like real like stuff, because if I talked to more people in my industry that I was going into, I feel like I would have put a lot more work into my portfolio that wasn't really related to school. And I would apply to jobs a lot more frequently while in my senior year of school, so that I can lock down the actual job. Because I thought like, oh, once I get this degree, people are going to look at the degree on the resume, and they're going to see a little bit of the interns and a little bit of the project stuff I did at school, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, he went to this school, okay, yeah, let's take him. How much money you want? Oh, I'll take this much, yeah. But it really wasn't the case, and I even resonated with what you said, SJ, about taking one of those jobs where you're getting, bless you, taking one of those jobs where you know, got paid like 800 each month. I took a job as a front-end developer, and I didn't really negotiate the pay for that job, and I kind of just took the immediate thing they gave me, because I was honestly mentally in a state of scarcity, like, oh my gosh, this is my first job, I just need to get in the door. And also my parents were very pushed, like, just get in the door, son, just get in the door. Which might not be the reality for other people's family situations, where their family situation telling them like, no, you deserve this much money, so you should get this much money. Like, hold off, wait. But yeah, it's like almost like that imposter syndrome. Like, am I really that guy? Do I really deserve this degree I have? Do I really have that skill set? Oh, okay, let me just accept what they're giving to me and just work there, you know? That was my immediate.
I thought I was gonna be like one of those girls on Park Avenue with, you know, their little blazer and their cute ass outfit, you know, and I go into an office and good at what I do. I feel like just now I'm good at what I do. Mm-hmm. After 5 years or 4 or however many years I've been doing this, just now I feel like, oh, you're good at what you do. Like right now I feel like, okay, maybe now I can afford that suit. Like, it's just, I thought I'd be that girl earlier. And I didn't know. That girl did not know what she was doing. She had no formal training. Her clothes were cheap as fuck. They were all from Rainbow, and Rainbow's great. But like, you know, it just, yeah, I'm still not that girl, and I feel like the idea of that girl has kind of changed for me. But like, yeah, I thought I'd just be working on Park Ave as soon as I graduated because I had the degree. I thought that was enough, but it wasn't. It's not enough.
Do you find in your field, and Dr. Griffs, let me know what you think about this, do you find that in your fields the degree is necessary?
For
like, yeah, for your job and everything? Because like for me as a computer programmer, it's sad for me to say this because it just makes me think about like student loans and all the time I invested, but it's really not necessary. Like, I could have gone to a whole coding boot camp, 3 months to 6 months, build on my portfolio like crazy, and gotten jobs within the same ranges of money that I'm able to get now, you know? So it's kind of one of those like realities that I learned that like, I kind of don't need a college degree for the career path that I'm on right now. It helps a little bit, you know. I think it helps a lot in terms of the relationships I was able to form. Like this podcast, when it exists, if I didn't go to college and met Dr. Griffs, and like you wouldn't be a guest here if, you know, I didn't meet you at college, right? But in terms of my career, in terms of that direct money going into my bank account, there's definitely an alternate reality version of BAM that did a coding boot camp and is making as much money or even more money than I'm making right now. So yeah. So what's your guys' opinion about that?
I think, like my first job, you needed a bachelor's to work the job. So my specific degree probably didn't really matter as much, but you needed a bachelor's. The second job after that, it was kind of flexible, but a bachelor's was kind of expected. And this current job, I think you definitely need a bachelor's to work that job.
Yeah.
Now, if I would have a master's, then I might degree, depending on where you're working, it will just help you get through the door. Like if you don't have a master's, you can't get paid more than this threshold. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of strategic in that way. But also if you're talking about the DJing, for me, I don't need a degree for that. But I do think having a degree, being like, yeah, I went to this college, kind of helps legitimize me as not just some random guy playing music. So the degree can be useful depending on what you're doing.
I agree. And I also the first editor I worked for, he didn't have a bachelor's degree. So, I mean, he's getting paid more than me. It's just, I feel like as, people of color, and it might be different in terms of computer science, because I know that is pretty niche, and you guys have a lot of flexibility in what kinds of spaces you can occupy in order to get qualifications. But I feel like that piece of paper, why our parents or whoever in our lives pushed us to get it, was because they knew that you're right, it legitimizes us as professionals. This one's good. They got a degree. So okay, we'll move forward with that. And hell, we might not hire them, but puts us in the running. So you didn't waste your time, because I feel like some people did look at your degree and was like, oh, just because you had the degree compared to someone with certification, but that could be different for computer science, and I'm not. But I know for me, I couldn't compete in this space without my degree at all, because that's what they look at.
And now you're a heavy contender. Columbia, boom.
I low-key feel like the only reason why I got that degree was because all the black people that I spoke with who were in positions, that were in higher positions, they had degrees from Columbia. My old bosses, when I worked at these finance companies, anybody had a master's. Just even if I looked at their LinkedIn, wasn't that fucking impressive? My shit's more impressive. Not to, but there wasn't a lot on it.
Yeah.
And yet you're getting paid buku money to audit and to have meetings. Yeah, it's just funny. It's kind of funny. We need it.
So we've been out of college, at least out of bachelor's, for at least 4-ish years now, right?
Yeah.
What's y'all advice for someone just now about to get their bachelor's, just got their bachelor's, someone about 22, 20, 21, that age? What's y'all advice now?
You could go first, SJ.
I guess advice I would say is, it's hard to tell somebody understand what you want to do, because it's if I knew exactly the kind of journalist I wanted to be, if I knew what journalism entailed, I would have been real specific with the kind of courses I took. I legit graduated an English degree. Be specific about what, think about your career, and then ask people, not just where they went to school, what kind of degree did they got, what did they do, what did they learn. I feel back to what you said, Dr. Griffs, when you were pursuing your DMS degree, you forgot to learn, do that learning part. Me too. I forgot to learn. I forgot to be oh, this is how you fact check. What sourcing? Do that granular work so that you're actually getting professional studies. Ask people in your field, be real specific about what kind of courses they took, so that you can mimic that and be ready for the spaces you want to occupy. And nobody's doing that great. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard, especially with Instagram and social media and shit, to be I'm the only one that's broke and confused. No, most people are broke and confused. No one's just saying it out loud. And I feel that's what a lot of your first couple years out of college may look like. And that's cool. It's really cool. Just find your support system and be transparent. Not in competition. I know they speak to this all the time. If you're not in competition with anyone, just, this is your reality. Run your reality the way you want. You know, like everything else is outside noise. And I feel like that's what keeps me sane. I wish like I knew that, because I was comparing myself to a lot of people. But the only person you should compare yourself is to these higher ups. Like look at what your boss is making and compete with him, not with some chick you went to college with. Like y'all both live in the Bronx. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't compete with her, compete with him. And that's what I do. That's what I try to do.
Heard that, yo. Heard that. Yo, add wisdom right there. I would say for me, like that's like I agree with everything that like SJ just said. I think knowing exactly what you want, I think is very important. So I recommend for people, like, get yourself a journal, get yourself a notebook and a pen. Go for a walk in a park or something on a nice sunny day. Sit down by a tree and literally write down what you want for your life, right? Because some people want different things. Some people want to prioritize maybe getting out of debt first. And so maybe for them, getting the highest paying job they can get immediately, but while staying at home with their parents and just saving up their money and paying off their debt first might be the ideal situation for them. Some people want that, prioritize living by themselves, prioritize like wanting to get that grown up lifestyle, get their own apartment and like going out to parties and experiencing what that like first. So maybe for you it's about getting a job and maybe just paying the minimum on your student loans and just keep it going, right? So it's like I think it's dependent on like what do you want, because there's gonna be a lot of people that give you advice based on what they think is important, but not necessarily what you may think is important. And if you're kind of walking around kind of like undecided and unsure, you kind of have an idea knowing that money's important, but like living your best life is important, doing a job that fulfills you is important. Because I'll say like one of the things that I learned during my first job is that having a job that I can see the impact of the work I'm doing and how positive it impacts the customer or the people on the other side really brings fulfillment to me. So I'm still catering my work in that direction. And you know, I think that's also a reason why I really enjoy this podcast, because I feel like, you know, so for me and Dr. Griffs and even this conversation, it fulfills me in a sense where like, oh, you know, like somebody might come to this video and like have a good laugh, or they might get a new perspective that might help them down the right path. Also, we're not trying to give you guys like life advice, okay? So, you know, make your own decisions about stuff. We're just sharing our perspective on things. But yeah, taking some quiet time away from parents, away from friends, away from all kinds of distractions. Find some alone time, find a place where you feel nice, comfortable, and safe. Get yourself a pen and a piece of paper and write down what you want, and then create plans oriented towards getting what you want. So that's what I would tell a younger version of me just getting out of college. Be like, yo, what exactly do you want? You know, and just focus on that and like ignore the noise.
Yeah, I think all that is solid advice. I think I would tell someone that's a 20-something that you won't know what you want to do. I think you're changing in each chapter of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I'm a DJ full time. It's gonna be lit. 2020 hit and DJing died overnight. So you might have a vision of where you want to be, but life changes, your perspective changes, or you just get thrown curveballs. So I think my biggest advice I'd give to you would be, if you're 20-something, do everything you can to look out for your future self. So if that's financially making decisions for your future self, creating relationships with people that you think your future self would appreciate, is do what you can for your future self is what I would tell you.
Wait, I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Has your idea of success changed from when, you know, what were you, 18 going into college, to how you are now? Has it changed or developed?
That's a good question.
You have an answer, or you want me to?
No, I got something formulating in my head right now, but you got it.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. My birthday just passed, and
Happy
I remember
birthday.
I had a milestone I went for this birthday, and I'm nowhere near that milestone. I was like millionaire by this age, and that I'm not. Yeah, I'm renting right now. I'm not a millionaire. And I was like, Dr. Griffs, maybe that was a bit ambitious, maybe a bit unrealistic. And I started thinking about like, okay, I am financially kind of sound right now, but I have people who are out here like blessing me. That's the best way to describe it. I have a friend who's like flying me out to their city. I'm like, maybe I'm not financially successful, but I've been successful in creating and maintaining relationships. So I started seeing how, it sounds cliche, but money is a lot, but it's not everything. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm kind of shifting my views of success. If I could, make a good relationship with somebody and have them have conversations about me that are positive in a room that I'm not in, I think that's a really good success.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. There was a YouTuber who died recently, Kevin Samuels.
Wow, yeah.
He is probably more financially successful than a lot of people on this planet. Yet people are spitting on his grave, and I was like, you could make all this money, but what do people talk about you when you're not here? So I think that kind of made me think about success as well.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a little bit, I don't know why, but like when I think about morbid stuff, it makes me a little bit more optimistic about life. I don't know why. But even from a younger age, I've always thought about like, what is my life going to look like on my deathbed? Like when I'm like, God hoping, like, where I'm old and, just, like tired and done. Like, what is my life going to look like? Like, am I going to care about the same things I care about now? And, the core thing was like always having people in my life that like I would feel would just their presence warms me up, right? So I think the younger version of me would be pretty happy with the people I surround myself with, and like the younger version of me would look at my room and look at my setup and be like, yo, this is what okay, good. You're able to cover your expenses, you're able to live your life and everything. But I've told Dr. Griffs this, I told SJ this, like my long-term main character plan I want for my life and the thing I want to create. And so that kind of came up out of nowhere, like when I was like 22, 23. And so that changed what I believed I wanted my life to be, but I don't really feel like unhappy or sad that I'm not there yet. I feel happy when I'm making steps each day to get there. And to me, like, it kind of, when I realized that was happening to me, it kind of made me change my whole idea about success and goals, where goals to me is just, at the end of the day, it's just a destination, but life is about the journey. Most of our life is about us walking to get to a place or getting to it, right? So it's like, to me, I changed my mind from, oh, I need to get this goal, to how about I have a goal that makes the journey fun? So that's kind of like how I'm on right now. Like the people I hang out with on a regular basis is like, I don't really have a destination with these people, but is getting to where we need to go enjoyable to me? Oh yeah, it is. All right, cool. Is me doing this, I have goals for this podcast. Is me recording the podcast with Dr. Griffs enjoyable to me? Yeah, cool. It's like, I have a goal in terms of what I want in terms of salary with my job, but is my job itself enjoyable to me? Yeah, cool. So that's how I kind of think about achieving certain milestones in my life now, is like, is the journey getting there going to be enjoyable to me? Because back to the morbid thought, it's just, we can't choose, just like how Kevin Samuels couldn't choose when his time was going to come. It's like, we can't choose. But so like the journey matters more than the destinations, because the destinations just You know, it's like, SJ, you just got your degree, right? And it's like major big milestone, but it's like that's just a moment, and then you got the rest of life to live. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be. I forgot what the question was, but yeah, that was my thought about it.
No, but you answered it. Like, what has your idea of success changed? Yeah, I like that. I like what you guys said.
What about you?
Yeah.
Like, same question back at you.
Well, money is important. I'm not gonna lie. Money is important. It is security. It is a level of happiness. It's like real. Like, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But also, like, relationships are really key too. I feel like I'm bad at that. I'm bad at like connecting with others. If like we don't have that base connection, I'm really just out. And you know, like, and I feel like that also speaks to me, like kind of like mentally, and like to me, I feel like success. Yes, it means financial security, but it also means like, you know, I want to be like mentally sound. You know, I want to, you know, be okay, like emotionally and like spiritually. Just because like remember that beauty queen that like jumped off a ledge, like Chelsea Kirst or something? I was trying to look up her name, but it's like she had the perfect job. Like, wow. You know, on top of being like cute, like she was like in every room, like she was doing it, and at a good age, like she was like about a little younger than us, not younger than us, but like younger than 30. And it's like you were doing millennials' dream,
right?
And it wasn't enough. Not to say like I'm not questioning why she killed herself, but I'm just saying like this shit don't mean anything if you're not like, if you don't get over your shit. And, you know, find a level of peace for yourself. So for me, a part of my success is like I want to be okay in like all aspects, which is why like I'm real deliberate with who I spend my time with, and with the decisions that I make, because I don't want life to just happen to me. You know, like oops, I married this guy, or oops, I live here now. Like, oops, like you know, I feel like that could happen if you just let life happen to you. And I'm really, really cool about saying like, no, I don't want to do that. Like if I don't want to be somewhere, I dip, because my happiness really does come first. But yeah, that's part of my big thing for success.
Well,
yeah.
Bam, SJ, is there anything else I want to say for the people watching? Because about that time.
It is about that time.
Abortion is healthy.
Okay.
What you saying?
That abortion is healthcare.
Yes, sir. Well, guys. Well, SJ, I know it was an absolute pleasure for me to have you on this podcast, and you know, definitely an absolute pleasure for our viewers, because they just been seeing me and Dr. Griff's face this whole time, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like actually a cute girl here! Holy shit!" Well, I guess. Really? Oh, thank you. Any final thoughts from anybody?
Or is there anything you want to plug or talk about?
Social medias or anything?
Not
yet, guys. Not yet. She's not.
I'm not on that level with no.
But yeah,
not yet.
But yeah, guys, we appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. If you have any thoughts or opinions you want to share down below, we will definitely be down there to interact with you guys. It could even be stuff that's contrary to stuff that we said, because at the end of the day, everybody here is still growing and we're still trying to learn and absorb new things, and we just want to share our perspective with you guys, and hopefully it helps. And if it doesn't, you know, be like Bruce Lee, take what's useful, discard what's not, and keep it moving. So like the video if you liked it, comment if you have thoughts and opinions you want to share, subscribe if you want to see more conversations like this. You know, if you want to see more of SJ, maybe she'll pop in, who knows, I don't know. But guys, that's it from us. It's Bam, Dr.
Griffs,
SJ.
And SJ. Later, peace.